Thanks for joining me here. It Changes for Life. Episode 2. What are you so afraid of? Before we get started, this program is not for anybody that is in crisis or in need of professional, psychological, or medical attention. Please make the necessary calls. Your health ultimately is vital and the most important thing. What are we so afraid of? You know, the stories we tell ourselves shape our reality. What if changing your story could change your life? It's well known and documented that our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are deeply connected, often driven by beliefs we've carried for years. You might ask why this would be so powerful. Our internal dialogue shapes self-perception. Positive thoughts lead to confidence and hope. Negative thoughts fuel doubt and fear. Where can we see this in action in our life? Well, let's take a simple word like can't. I can't do this. Versus I'm learning and progress takes time. Can't to me is a 4-letter word. If you say you can't, you won't. If you say you can, you just might. So what might be a problem if I said can't, or I might not be able to do it? Well, that triggers emotions. Emotions drive behavior. It clouds your path to clear thinking. Self-doubt, unfortunately, leads to procrastination or avoidance. Confidence encourages action and persistence. So how do we break this cycle? To change behavior, start by challenging negative thoughts, by catching yourself when you're doing it, when you're beginning to go down that slope. As you catch yourself, it's important to begin to function in the new narrative. So suggestion number 1 is that we have to stay in the present moment. We can't think about yesterday. We can't think about tomorrow. We can only think about the moment we are in. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness allows you to be in the moment and not think about the fact that you haven't been able to do it yet. That will create a narrative that is unproductive. If you begin to cloud your thought process, you are catastrophizing. You are creating a scenario, a story, a conclusion that hasn't happened yet. In fact, 85% of the times when we create that narrative, it doesn't come true. And I know you're saying, Jeff, yes, actually it does at times come true, and there could be a lot of reasons for that, including a self-fulfilling prophecy. At times we do things to ensure it's not going to work out. Then we say, well, there I go again. I knew it wasn't going to work. So then you might ask, well, why would I do that? Well, there's so many different reasons that we might be afraid of. We might be afraid of being embarrassed. We might be afraid of being judged. We might be afraid that if it does work out, can I handle this? How about the ever popular, I'm not sure I can do this? So I do want to lend an example so you can apply this to life. Where might we do this? Well, a common place is in love. People have been in relationships and they've been hurt, and it's devastating. I understand it. So what takes place in the future is all of these relationships that don't work, and we never stop to function in truth and to wonder why. Is it the possibility that you're catastrophizing the relationship? You're doing things in the relationship that are leading to an end to protect the safety of your heart, the safety of love, the covenant. I'm not going to be hurt again, so quietly I'm ruining it. Then I can say, see, I knew it wasn't going to work. So as we move forward with the new narrative, I want to suggest to you that you tell nobody about it. You need to be prepared for potential resistance, both internally, your old habits, and externally, skepticism from others. So I want to encourage you that you are the author of your life as I go back to giving away your power of decision. So in order to make change of what we're so afraid of, you need to recognize what that is, because as soon as it starts happening, you're going to see it. You're going to shift to the new narrative. You are going to be forgiving with yourself. You're going to understand that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. So I want to offer a second thought process that was taught to me by my dad. And yes, he's very influential in my life. He told me, Jeff, there's no such thing as failure. There's only results. It's a living, breathing document. So because there's no failure, I don't feel down about what took place. I definitely will go back, rethink, reanalyze, make changes to what I'm doing to get closer to my success, the change that I want. So having said that, when you think about your change, it is incredibly important to find your emotional reason for making this change. Write it down. Post it on your fridge, in your bathroom, on your dashboard, on your steering wheel, so that you see it and are driven by it at all times. Now, I understand that contradicts not telling anybody, so your circumstance will warrant where you're going to put it. That way, everybody in the world's not seeing it and giving their input. So to add further reinforcement to the new narrative, I want to revisit something I mentioned in episode 1. Self-esteem versus self-value. We know self-esteem can go really high and really low based on what's happening. Not a good thing. Self-value, on the other hand, if I asked you a question and gave you less than 30 seconds to answer, please tell me 5 things that are incredibly awesome about you. Go. Well, I can tell you, in the majority of circumstances, when I ask that exact question to somebody when I'm standing right there, 70% of the people fumble all over themselves to give me those 5 reasons. Why would that be important? Because we're talking about the new narrative, the truth. Self-value is truth. Your truth, nobody can mess with, not even you, because you set the standard, you have an understanding. So when that voice in your head gets in there, your truth says, no, that's not true. I'm not going to let that affect what I'm doing. So at this point, I am going to encourage you to challenge your truth. When things aren't working for you, take a second to look at your truth. Challenge it. Find out, am I doing things that's bringing my pursuits down? Be honest about it. Accept it. It's okay. So that turns the behavior right around back to one of the most prevalent human emotions that I mentioned in episode 1, and that's denial. Denial allows us the out. So as we venture into truth, and you'll have to excuse my French, if you half-ass the effort, you know it. Be honest with yourself. Be truthful. If you're functioning in that, I just hope somebody shows up on my front door and delivers change. So the difference between people that make change and the people that don't, the people that make change are doing the things, the everyday things that need to be done, even when they don't want to do it. That's a very black and white difference. The people that aren't making change aren't doing the things they need to do. So I know it's hard to believe, but chapter 2, we're going to get into making change. So what I want you to do is I want you to write down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You're going to put a line next to each day. Here's what I'm going to ask of you. After you create this list that represents the week, I need you to identify the change that you want to make. And I need you to be incredibly specific about what you want to do. If you want to get in shape, what is your exact goal? Do you want to lose weight? How much weight within healthy reason do you want to lose? How are you going to go about that? Are you going to include the resources, the pros, the people that have made the mistakes that know how to do it correctly. So once you've identified your emotional reason to do this and you've clarified your goal, you're going to take your Monday through Sunday list, and on each day, you are going to do one thing to put it in motion. Maybe you call a gym. You get a gym membership. Maybe you reach out to a nutritionist to set up an appointment. The point is each and every day, no matter how small it is, you do something. Now, if I skip a day, is it the end of the world? Absolutely not. We're not looking for perfectionism. We're looking for consistency. So if out of the 7 days, 5 days you did something, you take that list at the end of the week and you look at that and you celebrate because you are making change. Too many times we create this change that we want and we look at this grandiose picture and what it's going to look like instead of each rung of the ladder to make the change. Celebrate the week. Look back, you're making change. Nobody can mess with that truth. It doesn't matter if your family says, we know you're not going to change. Well, guess what? Your truth is telling you, yes, I am. And I don't have to prove anything to anybody but myself, the masterpiece to the puzzle. I write the story for me. So I'm going to issue you a challenge. For the next 7 days, when you notice self-sabotaging thoughts or behaviors, write them down. What triggered them? How did you respond? This awareness is the first step to breaking free and making changes. So a little quiz and an answer. Did anybody notice when I created the detail for the week that I said Monday through Saturday, I left Sunday off? Later I said Monday through Sunday. If you did notice that, it's okay. It proves my point that consistency is the answer. If I did things Monday through Saturday and left Sunday off for a rest, no problem. So I do want to emphasize that you are not your past mistakes. You are not past results. Self-sabotage is a habit. It's not your identity. And habits can be changed. I promise you that. So next time in episode 3, we're going to dive into absolute acceptance. Accepting things exactly as they are. It creates the starting point for us that is absolute. I want to thank you for joining me for episode 2, What We're So Afraid Of. I hope you have a wonderful day, and today is gonna rock because we're working on ourselves. What a better thing to do. As always, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so that when new videos arrive, you're the first to see it. As well, leave a comment for our listeners of triggers that stop the process of change for you. Thanks for listening. As always, Jeff with Changes for Life.